Hi, this is Katie. Today's video is going to be a little bit of an update video. Something happened about a month ago and I just haven't told you guys yet. And I figured it was time to tell you. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it is something that is changing my life a little bit, and it's also changing part of my business, like part of my job. And so I figured that I would tell you, not for sympathy or even for advice or anything, but just to share with you guys, just because I think it's important for you guys to know what's going on. So about a month ago at this point, I woke up one morning. It's like a normal morning, woke up, and my pinky and my ring finger on my right hand felt like it was sprained. I don't know if you've ever sprained your hand before or any part of your body. It felt like it was sprained. It felt like super swollen, super like achy, like real weird. And I was like, I wonder if I did something while I was sleeping. I wonder if it's my arthritis acting up, because I do have mild arthritis in my hands. So I was just like, I wonder what it is, you know, but also I'm in my 30s and sometimes things just hurt. So I went throughout my day, and within, you know, several hours, like by mid-afternoon or something, the pain subsided. And I was like, okay, whatever. And the next morning, the same thing happened. I woke up, my pinky and my ring finger on my right hand felt like they were sprained, and I'm like, what is going on? After a few hours, it went away. I was like, okay. Same thing happened the next day and the next day. And then after about a week, the pain didn't subside anymore in the afternoon. It just stayed a constant pain of it felt like I sprained my hand. It was really swollen. Sometimes I couldn't really move it. Sometimes it hurt a lot. Sometimes it wasn't necessarily insanely painful, but it felt really swollen and it was hard to move. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. So I already had plans to go get a physical. And so I was like, okay, well, just while I'm at the GP, I'll just ask him if he knows what's going on. And so I went to a GP. And he's like, oh, is anything going on? I'm like, well, no, I'm basically fine, but my hand, like there's something wrong with my hands. And if I'm smiling or anything throughout this video, it's because sometimes making light of certain things makes them a little bit easier to handle. You know what I mean? I think a lot of us do that. But anyway, so I'm like, there's something wrong with my hand. And I'm like, I do have mild arthritis, so I don't know if it's just from that or if there's something else going on or what. And he looked at it. And he's like, yeah, he's like, it might be your arthritis, just, you know, getting worse. He's like, but I'm gonna send you to a hand guy, like an orthopedist, but that specializes in hands. So I'm like, okay. So a few days later, I went to an orthopedist, and he looked at my hand, he had me move my hand, he felt around, and he's like, I don't think it's arthritis. He's like, I think it's tendinitis. And I was like, what? Like, it was one of those things. And I hope that you guys know I'm never complaining or anything like that. It's more just like, I want to share what's going on in my life, because I know that this is not the worst thing that's ever happened to anyone, but it was a shock for me. Just being told that I had tendinitis in my hand was a shock for me. And it's in my right hand. I'm holding the camera right now with my left hand. It's in my right hand. And he's like, yeah, he's like, you have tendinitis in like the bone, like on your hand, but that connects to your fingers, like where your pinky finger is. Because when I would bend my hand, this is gonna sound gross. If you guys are not good with medical stuff, close your ears for the next minute. But when I would bend my hand, it would be like crunchy. The same with my wrist. It's a little bit in my wrist as well. If I move my wrist too much, it's a little of the crunchy, which is so gross to me. But it's mostly in my pinky. And he's like, there's a lot of inflammation. Essentially, tendinitis, from what I understand, is like a lot of inflammation in the tendon. And it can happen, I think, like anywhere in your body, but I just happen to have mine in my hand. And I, again, was very surprised because it kind of happened so quickly, and I was like, oh, okay, like there is actually something wrong. You know, I think in my head, I just kind of thought that my arthritis wasn't feeling great for a little while and it would go away, but he said it was tendinitis. And so I also asked him like if I caused it somehow, because you guys, well, I don't know if you know, so I'm left-handed. I write lefty, I eat lefty, I, you know, use my phone lefty and my purse lefty and that kind of stuff, but I use my right hand for more strength. It's like left hand's a little bit more accuracy, right hand's a little bit more strength, sometimes strength and accuracy. But anyway, so if I'm throwing, I'm using my right hand. But also if I'm crocheting, I'm using my right hand. And when I'm editing and stuff, I'm using my right hand. So he said it was tendinitis. I asked if there was anything that like I did to cause it, and he's like, probably not. He's like, some people are just more prone to tendinitis. So even if it didn't happen right now, it probably would have happened at some point. But, you know, we don't know. Maybe it was from crocheting a ton, because I've been crocheting a lot, you know, or something like that. Maybe I aggravated it like that. But he basically said that I probably would have gotten it at some point anyway, because some people are just more prone to it. So he just kind of started telling me what my options were. And he said, because at that point, I really only had it for about like 3-ish weeks, I think. And he's like, since it's still pretty new, because I guess 3 weeks is still pretty new for something like this, he's like, there is a chance it can go away. It's like some people who have the tendonitis pain, it does go away. He said we could give you a cortisone shot that he said in about 60-ish or a little bit more than 60% of people who get the cortisone shot, they find relief in the inflammation, that word. They find relief in that. And then he said, you know, if it does end up getting worse or last for a very long time, surgery would be an option. But he's like, where you're at now, he's like, surgery is not, like, we're not gonna think about surgery at all. He's like, either basically now you can kind of wait it out or you can get a cortisone shot. And I was like, well, while I'm here, I'll get the cortisone shot to see if that does decrease the inflammation. So got the cortisone shot. I've only had one other cortisone shot in my life, and it was in my shoulder when I hurt my neck a few years ago, and my shoulder muscle was in spasm for months. It hurt so bad, and I got a cortisone shot. And basically what that did is it made it hurt worse for a couple days and then just went back to the normal pain. So for me, in my shoulder a couple years ago, it did not help, but it was insanely painful. I spoke to a couple people in my family, or 3 people in my family, who have also gotten cortisone shots over the years, and 2 people said that it didn't hurt at all. Their shots did not hurt one bit. And then one person in my family was like, oh no, mine hurt a lot. So I don't know if it depends where it is or what, I don't know. But I think sometimes they don't hurt and sometimes they do. The one in my shoulder hurt. The one in my hand, he told me it was gonna hurt. He's like, yeah, he's like, this type of cortisone or whatever in this spot in the hand, he's like, it's gonna hurt. He's like, but that's why we put lidocaine in it, which is like Novocaine. He's like, we put the lidocaine in it to numb it so it doesn't hurt as bad. And I'm like, okay. So he warned me that at least that was gonna hurt, and the lidocaine was supposed to decrease the amount of pain that the shot gave. And wow, if that decreased the amount of pain, then I cannot remotely imagine how bad it would have been without the lidocaine, because that shot was one of the most painful things that I've gone through in a long time. And he said, especially again in the spot in my hand, because there's a tiny little part, that it was really gonna hurt, because they had to use like the same amount, but in a tiny part or something like that. But when he gave me that shot, I'm surprised that I did not scream and cry. I just kept saying, oh my God, ow, 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 ow. Like I was like talking, but it hurt so bad. And not that this has ever happened, but this is what it felt like. It felt like someone was ripping my finger off. Like that's what it felt like, or my imagination of what that might feel like. It hurt so bad. And I actually recorded a video that day that I'm probably posting this Friday. So you'll see like my hand, I'm like, oh, I got a cortisone shot today. I just kind of talk about it briefly, but I wanted to make this video to like really explain what happened. But I did record a video that day once like that insane pain stopped, but my hand was super numb and it hurt and it was super swollen. I couldn't really move it because it was numb and swollen. But anyway, so that lasted a couple days that my hand was super numb. And then when the numbness kind of wore off, it still really, really hurt. And then within, you know, a couple days, it just kind of went back to how it was normally. And then on, what day is it right now? It's Tuesday right now. So about a week ago, oh no, so I guess the shot was like 2 weeks ago. So maybe it's been like 5 weeks since this all started. Maybe a little over a month. But anyway, about a week ago, so about a week after the shot, it felt okay. It still did not feel great. It still was crunching. Like I still had the issue, but it didn't hurt at that point. And I was pretending, you know, if you ask me why, I don't even remember, but I was pretending to throw a Frisbee with my hand, and I like whipped my hand like you would when you're throwing a Frisbee, and it like re-aggravated it. So for like the next day or two, my hand was insanely swollen, so painful, which just obviously shows me that I need to, even if it doesn't necessarily hurt at that moment, I still really need to baby it, because it is not, it's not better. So again, sometimes it hurts, sometimes it's inflamed, sometimes it doesn't really hurt. It's still cracking and stuff, but it doesn't really hurt. But so I have it wrapped, not all the time, but a decent amount of the time. Again, even if it's not inflamed, well, obviously when it's inflamed, it's good to have it wrapped, just like a little compression, and I'll put ice and stuff on it as well. But also sometimes I just want to have it wrapped again to remind myself to not like mess around with it, or to not like just grab something heavy, because especially these fingers basically work okay. And I can still kind of move these and stuff, but these are the ones that are like injured, like over here. So I will have it wrapped on and off probably for a while. Basically what he was saying, the doctor, what he was saying was that if this cortisone shot does not help, or if it helps a little bit, but the pain and the crunching and all that kind of stuff keeps going, the next step that we would take is in about 3 months, I would get another cortisone shot, which I don't want to have to do that. It was the most painful thing. But if I have to, I absolutely will. And so that would be from now, again, about 2.5 months. And then we would wait to see if that one helps. And then again, if not, we would kind of see how bad it gets. You know, that maybe physical therapy or something like that would help. But then if it lasts for long enough, and or if it gets worse, in a while, surgery might be an option. So for now, again, the reason I told you this is not for sympathy or anything, but just to share this with you guys. Like, that's one of the reasons I have my channel, is to connect with you guys, share with you guys, tell you some of the stuff that's going on in my life. But the other reason I wanted to tell you is because I can't crochet right now. It's weird because a lot of you guys know I started a crochet business about 9 months ago or something. It was last summer, but I've been crocheting on and off since I was young, but I haven't been able to crochet in several weeks. Because at first when it was hurting, I didn't really know what was going on, so I would still kind of crochet sometimes. But especially since I went to the doctor, like, I'm not gonna crochet at all. Even though these fingers kind of work, so I probably could hold a crochet hook, I know that crocheting would aggravate it like crazy and would not give it time to heal. I need to give this time to heal. So I understand in certain types of physical therapy and stuff that certain movements and stuff, you know, could be helpful for healing, but not crocheting. So I can't crochet right now, which means basically that I have to close down, or at least take a you know, a decently long pause from my crochet business, which I don't even know if that's really like mentally hit me yet. I think it started to like last night, because last night I was just sitting on the couch and I'm like, I want to crochet right now, and like I can't. So that's a little bit of a bummer for me. That not only a hobby that I've been doing for a while, but especially that I've been doing almost the last year because it was helping with my anxiety a little bit, like I can't do that anymore. But then on top of that, it was part of my business. You know, I made it into a little crocheting business last summer, and it has been just another leg of my business and something that was helping me pay my bills and stuff, and I can't do that right now. So it is a little bit of a bummer, but obviously I care much more about healing and giving this time to heal and the space to heal and the opportunity to heal and to see what happens. So right now it feels swollen. It doesn't, I don't know if you guys have had tendonitis, and I don't know if this is how everyone's tendonitis is. I don't know, but sometimes it hurts, sometimes it just feels swollen, sometimes it just feels a little achy, and a lot of the time I just don't even notice it. And I can't tell how much that is just because I kind of got used to the pain, or if it's just because if I'm not moving it, it's not really hurting sometimes. Sometimes even if I'm not moving it, it hurts. But it's different like every day. It's different depending on what I'm doing and whatever. So I do want to give it time and space and opportunity to heal. So I'm not crocheting right now, which is just a bummer. And that's one of the main things that I wanted to share with you guys, because I know that a lot of you guys follow my Shop Katie Carney Instagram, and you know, we've been doing special orders and I've had stuff to sell, and I can't right now. Again, I don't know if it's like fully hit me yet, but it is a bummer for sure. This is also the hand that I used to edit my videos, and that hurts, but if I take breaks and if I move my hand a certain way, it's not horrible. I don't know if it's actually aggravating it or not. I don't know, but also I could switch to my left hand for editing. So like that I could definitely do. But yeah, I guess now it's kind of the waiting game of, you know, again, taking care of it and giving it time to heal and keeping it wrapped and icing it and doing all the things that I know to do. But it's just kind of the waiting game of, if it doesn't start to feel a lot better in the next few months, I would get another shot. And then if that does not make it feel a lot better, then I'd have to figure out some other options. And so this is like a long waiting game, at least long for me. Several months of something is long for me to think about. Like, either, again, even if it's not in pain, because sometimes it doesn't really hurt very badly, it is still something that I have to be aware of, that I can't really use this hand as much as I used to and stuff like that. So it's just a change in my life that I'm getting used to. Again, I don't want sympathy or advice or anything like that, because it's so different for everyone, you know? So I'm glad to hear if you have tendonitis, what you've done for yourself, but I obviously am just going to listen to my doctor. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys, to let you guys know something big that happened in my life. And so I wanted you guys to be a part of it as well, just so you know. Just so you know. I really appreciate you guys just being here with me and watching these videos, and, you know, wanting to watch my videos where I'm out traveling or teaching you guys stuff, but also watching the videos where you're just hanging out with me or learning more about me. I really appreciate you guys being here for all of that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. I love you, Jesus loves you, and I'll talk to you later.